Yeah, sorry, actually, Zoom is scheduled for only 40 minutes, so it was disconnected. So you have to immediately you can join. So like from tomorrow onwards, when it is, I mean, it will indicate, it will give the indication. I forgot to tell you. So anyway, it's a 40 minutes session. So once it is disconnected, immediately you can join. If in case if you are like not able to hear me, you just raise your hand or something like that. So that I'll be getting understand sometimes what is happening. If you have a connection also getting disconnected, so for that you just consider so 1 second, one more. Okay, fine. So when you're talking about a subcontracting process, అన్న చెప్పండి అన్న అన్న చెప్పండి.
స్టార్టింగ్ నుంచి ఇదేనా క్లాస్ స్టార్టింగ్ మొత్తం ఇదేనా అంటే ఈరోజు స్టార్ట్ అయ్యే టైంకి మొత్తం లింక్ నాకు ఓపెన్ అవ్వలేదు.
ఓకే, ఇదే
P2P నుంచి విన్నాను. P2P నుంచి క్లాసెస్ స్టార్టింగ్ చేస్తున్నాను. P2P సైకిల్
అదే అన్న.
సో అక్కడి నుంచి నా క్లాస్ స్టార్టింగ్ అయింది.
అక్కడి నుంచే.
సో మీరు చెప్పినప్పుడు డిక్టేషన్ రాసుకోవాలా
లేదు నేను అది ఇంకా ఎంటర్ అవ్వలేదు ఎస్ఏపికి. అది నేను ఇస్తాను, నోట్స్ ఇస్తాను ఎస్ఏపికి ఎంటర్ అయినప్పుడు.
జస్ట్ ఇది చూడడం కోసం,
జస్ట్ బేసిక్ ఓవర్ వ్యూ అంతే.
నాకు స్టార్ట్ వాట్సాప్ లో పెట్టారు కానీ లింక్ చాలాసేపు ఓపెన్ అవ్వలేదు.
ఓకే అన్న, we can discuss it in offline. Okay, so I'll call you after this session.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so subcontracting process is simply like this. So whenever you want to produce one material, we have the resources, we have the input materials, but we do not have the proper mechanism or a proper machinery to produce that material, for which what we are doing, we are providing those materials to some subcontractor, some particular vendor or some particular manufacturing unit. Then he will consume those materials of X and Y, and immediately he will deliver the product of B. Okay, after that what you are going to do, already A is available, now we have received B, so you are going to combine A and B, and finally you are able to manufacture the battery. So here what exactly happening means, you are providing raw materials or input materials or a components to the subcontractor, and he will consume those components, and finally he will deliver a product. So after that we are finally manufacturing the battery. So such kind of thing is called as a subcontracting scenario. It's a very important in a real time. Okay, so in interview also they will ask, do you have any experience on subcontracting? So it will be very, very important. When you put all these parameters, stock transfer, third party, subcontracting in your resume, so it will give the more importance to the interviewers. So immediately he will ask about subcontracting and stock transfers. So there are a lot of stuff will be there. Okay, it will not be a easy concept here. In simple theoretical parameter, within 1 minute or 2 minutes I'm explaining you, but when it coming to the real time scenario, it will take a lot time, and then there are a lot of stuff we have to remember. Okay, and then coming to consignment. So consignment is nothing but simply what exactly it indicates. Vendor is going to deliver, suppose we are the manufacturing company, we are manufacturing the batteries, for which we need sort of raw materials. So every time we are monitoring the stock, and if the stock is less, so we are creating the purchase order for the raw material procurement. So rather than that, so here the business what they will do, they will go for consignment procurement, where there is an agreement with the vendor, like you have to deliver 10,000 of materials, I need 10,000 of materials. Likewise the business will create a consignment purchase order, not purchase order, it's a consignment purchase order. So there is not a no difference in a consignment purchase order. Simply here it will, you have to run the same T code MU21N, you have to enter all the parameters, but here beside this material there is a one field which is called as item category, where you have to specify K, means a consignment. Then that PO is a consignment purchase order. So the business will create a consignment PO for 10,000 quantity. So immediately vendor will deliver this 10,000 quantity to the warehouse location. Still that quantity belong to vendor only, not the plant. So we are, as a business side, they requested a consignment PO and the vendor delivered. After that, whenever we require 100 materials on production purpose, immediately the from the vendor consignment stock, we have to issue the materials. We have to issue 100 quantity from vendor consignment stock to production department. So at that time, it don't take much time. Already the 10,000 stock is available at a warehouse location only, but that is a vendor stock still. Whenever you require 100 quantity, you just create a transaction, issue the stock from vendor consignment to production, and you require. I mean, if the business needed 1,000 materials for some consumption purpose, immediately we have to execute a transaction of a goods issue, which is nothing but a issue the 1,000 quantity of a stock from vendor consignment stock to some consumption department or some production department or for some any other user department. That is what we have to perform. So that is what the consignment purchase order and consignment procurement. In consignment procurement, we do not have any kind of invoice receipt. There is a different process which we are going to call it as a liabilities. Whatever we are going to procure, whenever we require some materials, immediately we are issuing the materials. We are not creating any additional purchase orders. In consignment procurement, only one purchase order. For a 10,000 quantity or a 20,000 of a quantity, the vendor will deliver all the materials into the plant location. Whenever we require 10 materials, immediately we'll issue the material from vendor consignment to the some department. Then further to 10 materials, we have to do the payment. So there we don't call it as a invoice. We are going to call it as a automatic settlements, and we are going to call it as a consignment liabilities. Likewise, pipeline procurement. So name itself indicates it's a pipeline. Means let us take a simple some pharmaceutical industry or some sort of a manufacturing industry, or you can take a food industry. So to run their, I mean, manufacturing in the manufacturing premises, we do have a lot of machineries. So to run those machineries, we need electricity. Okay, so for which we will never be able to generate the electricity itself there in the plant location. So that is the reason why what they are doing. They are going to have some sort of agreement with the electricity department, electricity board. So this is what our business. We are manufacturing these particular products for which we have two manufacturing locations. We need electricity 24 hours by 7, 24 hours by 7 by 365. So at that time, they are going to they are not going to cut any power in the middle, so they are going to have agreement. So here what is happening, the material flows continuously. That is what I want to say. Okay, pipeline procurement means when the material is flows continuously from the vendor location to our plant location, which is called as a pipeline procurement. Whether it may be electricity, in the sense it's a power, so which flows through the wire, it's a continuous flow. Okay, and then take water, it's a continuous flow. And you can sometimes in pharmaceutical they need some sort of gases. Okay, so continuous flow. So here a simple example, you can take electricity itself in our homes for domestic applications. What we are doing, so from day one, like suppose you can take this month July 1st to July 30, how much amount of power has been consumed. So we are going to get electricity bill, so for which you are going to pay the amount. You are not storing any electricity current and all. So it's a continuous flow. What exactly, whenever you want to turn on your fan, you are going to switch on, that will be work. If it is not required, you are going to switch off. Means here what exactly I want to say, when the material flows continuously from the vendor location to the plant location, whenever we require, we are going to issue, we are going to use. Suppose the we are requesting a gas. We need a gas. So that we have requested a vendor. He is sending that gas through some sort of a pipelines. So from the vendor location to plant location. So whenever we require the gas, so we are going to turn on the valve, and then we are going to utilize, and then we are going to turn off the valve. So after that, in a particular 30 days of period, or in a 1 week of period, or a 10 days period, how much amount of gas we consumed, for which we need to the payment. That is what the pipeline liabilities. Here we do not have any purchase order, any purchase requisition, any goods receipt. So that is what the difference. They will ask, what is the exact difference between a consignment and a pipeline? So how to tell, in consignment we do have a consignment PO, whereas in pipeline we do not have any transaction like a purchase requisition, purchase order, goods receipt, invoice receipt. Nothing is there. Just only we are going to have the pipeline liabilities. Okay, 1 minute. So that is what a pipeline. Next, outline agreement. Agreements is nothing but we do have two contracts, and as well as the scheduling agreements. So contract. So contract is nothing but we are going to define some terms and conditions with the vendor. Means you are going to specify. We do have two types of contracts. One is a quantity contract and value contract. In quantity contract, you are going to specify the target quantity. Okay, I need a 10,000 material. So there is a difference in consignment and contract. That would be the interview question. You will get to understand clearly when that particular scenario you are going to execute. So here, quantity contract, target quantity you will specify. Whenever you are talking about a value contract, so you are going to specify the target value. Means here you are going to define certain period of time and conditions. In the sense, suppose whenever you are creating a value contract, you are going to specify the period from which date to which date, means validity periods, validity start and validity end. That is the first parameter. Second parameter, target value, means in the period you just mentioned, from 1/1/2021 to 12/31/2021. So entire 1 year of 2021, 365 days you specified. So in that period of time, what would be the target value, or what would be the target quantity? If it is a 10,000 quantity, so the vendor will deliver 10,000 quantity in that entire year. Whenever we require 100 quantity, we have to create a purchase order reference to this contract. Likewise, if it is a value contract, then we are going to specify the target value of 2 lakh rupees, 2 lakh USD, or 2 lakh Canadian dollars, or 2 lakh euros. Likewise, you have to specify the value. So whenever you require some materials, you are going to create a purchase order with reference to that value contract, so that all purchase orders, you have created 100 purchase orders with reference to a single contract. That should be, that value of that purchase order will be accumulated, and finally your target quantity is 10,000. You have created 100 purchase orders, you have accumulated the quantities of all the orders, you got to know 9,500. Okay, still there are a 500 open quantity in a contract. So that is what the contract means. There is a specified time, there is a specified conditions. Okay, suppose the condition itself, I'll tell you, the for 1 month, January to February, there is 100 rupees per material. In the March, it will be either 100, nor it may be 100, or it may be 101, it may be 110. Likewise, so this is the condition. Means we are going to maintain the same price in the entire year, or else different prices in the entire year. Okay, that is what will happen in the contract. Why? Because we don't know. Today, if you want to buy a mobile, you can take a simple example, iPhone 12. If it is today, it's 80,000. In the next year, the same day, if you take a, maybe that mobile will be available, it may not. That too, maybe that cost would be get reduced. Maybe that kind of a situations will happen. So that in contract, we are going to specify the each and every terms, conditions, validity periods and all. So there is a predefined time, predefined conditions will be there for entire 1 year. In the future also, that's a forecasting. Okay, In scheduling agreement also same, we are going to specify the time period and the conditions you are going to specify. In addition to that, you are going to specify the delivery schedules. Means you have specified the validity period from Jan to December 2021. Today we are in a July. So you have created a scheduling agreement for 1000 quantity. After that, you are going to specify August 8th, I need 120 quantity. August 12th, I need 5 quantity. In September 2nd, I need 300 quantity. Means you are going to specify the forecasting. On particular date, you are expecting particular quantity. Means you are going to schedule the quantity and you are going to schedule the delivery date. Means it's a forecasting. Means on December 12 I need 100 quantity. For the date you are today itself you are specifying. That is what the delivery schedules. That is what will happen in a scheduling agreement, so that there is no additional PO is required. Whereas in contract you are not specifying like that. Whenever you require you are creating, but in scheduling agreement itself it will act as a purchase order. That is what the difference. They will ask in interview, what is the difference between a contract and a scheduling agreement? So in contract, we have to create a additional PO, whereas in scheduling agreement, we have to specify the delivery schedules. This is the answer. That's it. So this is what the basic difference. Import and export means your plant and manufacturing location in India, you are going to procure the material from US vendor. The plant is located in US. They are going to procure from some Canadian vendor or from Indian vendor or some Nepal vendor like this. So that is what import and export. So whenever you are dealing with import and export, so you are going to deal with this BOL. We can call it as a bill of lading. So it's a sort of agreement, I can say. So generally, this will be taken care by the people who are working on a WM consultant. People will must aware about this bill of lading concept. We don't need, but if anyone else, I mean, I did not get involved in import and export procurements. Most of the times, 90% of the times, you don't involve. Rest of the time, we can't say. Okay, so you can say this is the way to create a contract. Directly, we can create for any document if you want to create. There is some reference data, some reference documents will be available in SAP, so we can proceed. So when you see that particular screen, you will get understand what exactly references we have, what not. So it will be vary from each and every transaction. So these are the basic procurements in SAP MM. That is what a business processes. So coming to the types of data. So in SAP, what are the types of data? Whenever you want to create a purchase order, directly you will not be able to create. You need a data, you need a material, you need a vendor, you need a plant, you need a storage location, you need some sort of a purchasing organization, which we discussed yesterday. So means we need a data. That is very, very important. In SAP, I'm not talking about SAP MM. I'm talking about SAP. In SAP, we have a three kind of data. So very, very important. Three kind of data. The first data is the organizational data. Second one is the master data. Third one is the transactional data. You are going to deal with the entire P2P cycle, MM consultant P2P cycle. That is fine. Yeah, sorry. So there was a disruption in net. So as SAP MM consultant, will deal with the P2P cycle only. But in addition to that, you are a SAP MM consultant, so you have to know what kind of data is available. Without the data, you can't be able to run any transaction. You can't be able to run the P2P cycle. So you have to know these are the three types of data will be available: organizational data, master data. So we have a third data is the transactional data, which is nothing but a P2P cycle. Okay, these are the three different data we have. Now in the organizational data, we can call it as a enterprise structure. Okay, organizational data is called as a yeah. So organizational data is called as a enterprise structure. So where you are going to have two important things, two important activities. One is a definition and one is a assignment. One is definition and one is a assignment. So in the definition, you are going to have the client, you are going to define the company code, purchase organization, plant, storage location. So this is what the organization hierarchy in SAP. And in SAP MM, so you are going to have these three parameters. Okay, it's a different. Okay, whenever you are talking about SAP organizational data, client is the top level. So generally, client will be created by SAP basis consultant. You have to know, I mean, which consultant to do which activities. So client will be created by SAP basis consultant. Next, company code, which will be created by SAP FI consultant, SAP finance. Coming to this from CDE indicates which was highlighted because this is SAP MM organizational hierarchy. So they will ask what is the SAP hierarchy and what is SAP MM organizational hierarchy. SAP hierarchy is a client followed by the company code. That's it. Client followed by company code. Whereas SAP MM organizational structure is purchase organization followed by plant and followed by storage location. So the topmost level in SAP MM hierarchy is a purchase organization, who is the whole and sole responsibility of taking care of entire purchasing activities and procurement activities. So this is what the organization structure in SAP and SAP MM. So we have to define all these. We have to define the company code, means we have to create a company code. We have to create a purchase organization. We have to create a plant. We have to create a storage location. So these all we have to define. Once the definition is done, you need to map the storage location to plant to purchase org, purchase org to company code, and client is obviously you're using the server itself. So this is the client. You can see, one second, I think. Yeah, you can see this is the client 800. Okay, so already we no need to focus on this client and all. So from wherever you are going to get the access now, so that should be the client. So here we have to define all these and then we have to assign. So you're alone, you are a single, you have created like a company code single, plant is single, storage location you have created standalone. But you have to do the assignment, then only you will get to understand what is your hierarchy, what is your company code, in which how many plants you have under the single plant, how many storage locations you have, and how many purchase organizations are there. That purchase organization is assigned at a company code level or at a plant level, that we should know. So for which what we have to do, once you define all these parameters, you have to do the assignment. Means plant to company code you have to assign. So purchase organization to company code, then purchase organization to plant. Okay, these are the enterprise structure and this should be the definition and assignment where exactly you are going to create your structure. So now my business, I mean, you can take a simple example, ITC. They are the manufacturing for, they are going to manufacture the paper. So you have to create one company code and then you have to create two plants. One you can create it in a location Bangalore, one you can take it as a Hyderabad. So ITC manufacturing Bangalore, ITC manufacturing Hyderabad. So likewise, you have to create the organization. You have to define and assign the organization structure. Then only you can run your transactions. Without organizational data, you can't step in. That is the first parameter. Second data is master data. You have your organizational structure. Finally, you have set up your configuration for entire organization structure. Like you have your plant, storage location, purchase, and all are available. In the ME21 screen, you are going to enter all parameters. Okay, like a plant, purchase organization, company, likewise. But what you want to procure? You have to procure material means you have to specify. Or else, okay, I'm going with indirect purchasing, for which I don't need a material, but vendor is required now. Without vendor, from where you will procure? So it should not be a blank. So 100% we need a sort of data, means a master data, which is the base, which is the common data in the client level. Okay, master data is always maintained at a client level, not at a plant level, not at a purchase org level, not at a company code level. This is the interview question. Master data will be maintained at which level? It's a client level. Okay, once we set up this master data, will it will be a static data, I can say. Okay, master data will be the static data, the transactional data will be a dynamic data. What exactly differs? So there is no change in the master data. Once you create a material with a few specifications, it will never get changed. Okay, whereas transactional data, it's a dynamic in day. In this day, today I created a purchase order for a particular material 10 quantity with some X vendor. Tomorrow I will create a purchase order for the same material for a same 10 quantity with other vendor, with other plant location. So the transactional data is getting changed from day to day. But master data, once the project you implemented, once you set up the master data, once you created the master data in live environment, it will last forever until unless the client will migrate to from SAP to other. And there also they have to incorporate this master data only, but the way it looks different. It's SAP platform. It will be if you see this, you can see MM01. So the screen will be like this. If in case if they are using other ERP platform, it will be different, but the way is the same. We have to define industry sector. We have to define the type of material. We have to give what is the weight, net weight. Likewise, we have to give the description what exactly this material, and likewise what is the price of this material and where it is available. Likewise, so we have so many parameters we will get to understand in next sessions when we are going to create. Likewise, these are the master data we have in SAP MM: material master, vendor master, customer master, but customer master is relevant to SD module. Okay, you are not a responsible person to involve in customer master data setup. Okay, it will be SAP SD. SD other name is OTC, means order to cash. However, MM consultant, we are calling it as a P2P, procurement to payment. Likewise, SAP sales and distribution can be called as a OTC, order to cash. They are responsible for setting up the customer master. Sometimes what will happen when you're running some sort of a scenario, if you're dealing with the customer master, you don't create, you will never create this customer master for their sake, or if in case if you want, there is a request like you have received some critical issue where you have to replicate the scenario, and you have only 60 minutes of time to resolve that issue. You are dealing with this customer master and all. You know how to create a customer master, I'll explain you. But in real time, you don't involve in the creation of customer master. If you, so immediately what you have to do, you have only minimum time. That is the reason why you do your own, but don't do that. You have to immediately create a task to the SD consultant. Why? Because they are originally responsible for setting up the customer master. They do know what are the sales organizations, what is the sales area, what is the sales group, and they know the all parameters relevant to sales. You don't know. You know how to create, but you don't know exact each and every parameter. What you need to do, you need to create a task and you need to pass that whatever the ticket which is assigned. That is what the thing you have to do. If you know I will do, don't do like that. So don't feel like that. You have to, if something is not relevant to MM, you have to escalate. That's it. So if you do now, again you will get a problem, and you will never resolve the other modules issues. So that the ticket get escalated, so that you are the responsible to answer your superiors. So always try to avoid when if you see the integrated issues, especially in terms of this master data. Okay, especially you have to more like a ఎట్లా ఎగ్జాక్ట్ చెప్పాలి అంటే ఎస్డి పీపుల్తో చాలా జాగ్రత్తగా ఉండాలి, ఓపెన్గా చెప్పాలి అంటే. వాళ్ళు ఎక్కడంటే మనల్ని ఎప్పుడు వాళ్ళని వాళ్ళు బలి చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. సో ఎస్డి రిలవెంట్ ఇష్యూ వచ్చిందంటే ఇమీడియట్ గా యూ హ్యావ్ టు ఎస్కలేట్ టు ఎస్డి ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్. యూ హ్యావ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఎ క్రిటికల్ priority. That's it. Okay, you don't do your own. If you know also, you just keep blank. That's it. Okay. And then batch master, which is relevant to the PP, but you have to know how to create and all. Service master, so which is SAP and then purchase info record, source list, quota arrangement. These are the different master data we have. So without the master data you can't further. However, you have configured your organization and then you are going to set up your master data. Finally you are able to run your all the transactions, all the P2P cycle transactions you can create. You can create a requisition, you have a vendor, you have a material, you have a plant, you have a purchase organization. So you'll be able to create your purchase requisition. So transactional data is always a dynamic data and master data is a static data. Master data will never change. Once we set up, it will last forever. Okay. So this is the transactional data. In we have a P2P cycle. So PR is internal document and RFQ is from RFQ to invoice receipt. All are external purchasing documents. Okay. So see here client. So client, it is a 3-digit unique number. However, our client in SAP here, it's a 800 client. Okay. Client number 800, you can see here. Okay, 800 is the client number. So in interview also they will ask, what is your development client number, what is your production client number, what is your pre-production client, or what is your like a quality and assurance system client number. So you don't say this 800, and there are 3 to 4 clients are there, so I'll give you those numbers. Other than that you can tell any number. Okay, so you can tell 100, 300, 310, 210, 220. Likewise, it's a 3-digit unique number which is going to create by SAP basis consultant. Okay, in real time, company code will be created by SAP FI consultant. But as of now, if you want to run, I mean, if you want to complete your training and all, you have to do all kind of activities which are relevant to different modules. SAP FI. Now, company code you have to create. Then only you can run your entire scenarios and all. So you have to define the company code. Okay, then you have to define the purchase organization. From purchase organization to storage location, you are the responsible person. So these are the basic data we have in SAP, and which includes SAP all modules. Whenever you're dealing with SAP, in the sense we have these 3 kind of data: organizational data, master data, and transactional data. These are the basic business processes we have. So this is about the basic overview of SAP So in the tomorrow session I'll get into SAP and I'll try to create a company, and I'll try to set up the organizational structure. You just go with the you go with the 200 papers notebook. So I think you guys are going to get 2 books. Okay, so I'll give you the complete notes and all. End of the day, so I'll give you the materials and I'll give you the interview questions for a set of companies I have. So I will share all those documents. And as well, I'll give you the sample resumes also, but don't copy from the sample resume. So generally, what we will do, if we get a sample resume, we'll copy everything. Just we'll update the names and all. But don't do that. You just study and then understand what are the roles and responsibilities of SAP consultant. Okay.